The mystery of the Mariana Trench. Is it a real possibility or just a figment of humanity's imagination? A mere urban legend? Is this rumor ultimately a good thing or a bad thing? Tonight, once again, we'll examine whether it's true or not from a Japanese perspective. Section 1 Hook. We have mapped the surface of Mars with greater precision than we have mapped the bottom of our own ocean. Let that sink in for a moment. We have sent telescopes to the edge of the known universe. We have photographed galaxies 13 billion light-years away. We have landed machines on the Moon, on Mars, on the asteroid belts of the outer solar system. And yet, there is a place on this planet, right here on Earth, that remains almost entirely unknown to us. It sits beneath 36,000 feet of crushing black water. The pressure down there is over 1,000 times what you feel standing on the surface. The temperature hovers just above freezing. No sunlight has ever reached it. It is called the Mariana Trench, and something is down there. We just don't know what. Section 2 Introduction. The Mariana Trench sits in the western Pacific Ocean, east of the Mariana Islands, not far from Guam. At its deepest point, a location called Challenger Deep, it plunges to approximately 36,089 feet, nearly 7 miles straight down. To put that in perspective, if you dropped Mount Everest into the Mariana Trench, the summit would still be more than a mile underwater. Less than 30 people in human history have ever descended to those depths. By comparison, over 600 people have traveled to outer space. We know more about the surface of the Moon than we know about the floor of the Mariana Trench. And that should terrify you. Not because of monsters, not because of myths, but because of what it means. We share a planet with an environment so extreme, so alien, so fundamentally hostile to human life, that we have barely scratched the surface of understanding it. And the little we have seen, it has already shattered everything we thought we knew about where life can exist and what forms it can take. Section 3 Background. The Mariana Trench was first discovered in 1875 during the voyage of the HMS Challenger, a British naval corvette on a global oceanographic expedition. The crew lowered a weighted line into the water and measured a depth that stunned them. They had found something no one had anticipated, an abyss beyond all previous imagination. For the next several decades, the trench was little more than a dot on a chart. No technology existed to explore it. No vessel could withstand the pressure. Then came 1960. On January 23rd of that year, 2 men climbed into a vessel called the Trieste, a deep-sea submersible designed by Swiss physicist Auguste Piccard. One of them was his son Jacques. The other was U.S. Navy Lieutenant Don Walsh. They descended for nearly 5 hours. And on the floor of Challenger Deep, in the absolute darkness, in conditions that should have made all life impossible, they saw a flatfish, just lying there on the sediment, a living creature, in the deepest place on Earth. The world had assumed the Hadal Zone, the name given to ocean depths beyond 20,000 feet, was a biological dead zone. Sterile, lifeless. That assumption died on January 23, 1960, and what has been discovered since then has only deepened the mystery. Section for the complete story. Chapter 1. The first descent, and what they found. Jacques Piccard and Don Walsh reached the bottom of Challenger Deep at 1:06 p.m. on January 23, 1960. The descent had taken 4 hours and 48 minutes. At the bottom, through the small observation porthole, they saw something that changed ocean science forever. Life. Complex, visible, undeniable life. In a place of absolute pressure, absolute darkness, and near freezing temperature. They spent only 20 minutes on the bottom before the ascent. A small crack had appeared in one of the outer observation windows during the descent. Not dangerous, but a reminder of exactly how close to catastrophic failure they were operating. They came back up. They filed their reports. And for decades, the world largely moved on. No one descended to those depths again for over 50 years. But what Piccard and Walsh had glimpsed was enough to plant a question that scientists have never been able to fully answer. If life exists at the very bottom of the ocean, what else might be down there that we haven't seen yet? Chapter 2. James Cameron and the Return. On March 26, 2012, filmmaker James Cameron, the director of Titanic and Avatar, climbed into a specially designed submersible called the Deep Sea Challenger and dove alone to the bottom of Challenger Deep. He became the first person to make the journey solo, and only the third human being in history to reach that depth. What Cameron described upon surfacing was unexpected, but the samples he brought back told a different story. The sediment from the trench floor was teeming with microbial life, organisms that had never been cataloged, bacteria that metabolize chemicals instead of sunlight, single-celled creatures thriving in conditions that should, by every biological principle we once held, be completely incompatible with life. The Mariana Trench is not a dead zone. It is an ecosystem we do not yet understand. Chapter 3. The creatures that should not exist over the decades. Unmanned submersibles have returned footage and samples from the Mariana Trench that have forced biologists to rewrite their textbooks. The snailfish, a pale, translucent creature, has been filmed at depths of over 27,000 feet, making it the deepest living vertebrate ever recorded. It should not be able to survive the pressure. Its body has adapted in ways we are still studying. Giant amphipods, crustaceans resembling oversized shrimp, have been found thriving in the trench, growing to extraordinary sizes. In normal ocean depths, they are tiny. In the hadal zone, they reach lengths of nearly a foot. Scientists call this deep-sea gigantism, and they still don't fully understand why it happens. Xenophyophores, single-celled organisms, have been discovered in the trench growing to over 4 inches in diameter. They are among the largest individual cells ever found on Earth. And then there are the sounds. In 2016, NOAA researchers lowered a hydrophone, an underwater microphone, into the Mariana Trench and left it recording for 3 weeks. What they captured was extraordinary. Whale calls, ship noise, earthquakes, the natural ambient sound of the deep ocean, and something else. A low, strange, unidentified sound that researchers initially could not explain. It was eventually categorized as a new type of baleen whale call, previously undocumented. But for a period of time, it was simply listed as unknown. Chapter 4. The pollution that reached the deepest place on Earth in 2017. Researchers made a discovery that was, in its own way, more disturbing than any creature they had ever found. Deep-sea amphipods collected from the Mariana Trench, from Challenger Deep itself, were found to contain polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, industrial chemicals that were banned worldwide in the 1970s due to their toxicity. The concentrations found in those creatures were staggeringly high, higher than levels found in the most heavily polluted rivers in China. At the deepest point on Earth, a place no human being had physically visited more than twice, the fingerprints of industrial civilization were already there. The Mariana Trench is not isolated from us. We have already contaminated it. And we don't fully know what that means for the ecosystem down there, because we don't yet know what that ecosystem truly is. Section 5 Theories. What is really happening in the Mariana Trench? Depending on who you ask, you'll get very different answers. Theory 1. The scientific frontier view. Mainstream marine biologists argue that the Mariana Trench is simply the most extreme example of a deep-sea ecosystem. Extraordinary, yes, but operating by the same fundamental principles of biology that govern life everywhere else. The life forms down there are adapted. They've had millions of years to evolve under those conditions. The pressure, the darkness, the cold, these are simply the parameters of their world, the way heat and sunlight are parameters of ours. Under this view, there are no monsters, no ancient unknowns, just organisms doing what organisms do, surviving, competing, reproducing, in an environment that happens to be radically different from the one we occupy. The mystery, under this view, is not sinister. It is simply unfinished science. Theory 2. The Lost World Hypothesis. A minority of researchers have proposed something more provocative. Given that the hadal zone has been largely undisturbed for millions, possibly hundreds of millions, of years, is it possible that creatures exist down there that represent evolutionary lineages that disappeared from the surface world long ago? The concept of a living fossil, an organism that has survived largely unchanged from prehistoric times, is well established. The coelacanth, a fish thought to be extinct for 65 million years, was discovered alive in 1938. The Mariana Trench represents a stable, unchanging environment. Temperature constant, pressure constant, darkness constant. Could something down there have been evolving, or not evolving? in that darkness for longer than we can comprehend? We genuinely don't know. Theory 3. The psychological dimension. Why the abyss haunts us. Thalassophobia, the fear of deep, open water, is one of the most commonly reported phobias in the world. Psychologists suggest it may be hardwired. Our ancient ancestors had very good reasons to fear deep water. It represented an environment where they had no advantages, no visibility, no control. The Mariana Trench amplifies that fear to its absolute extreme. When people encounter footage from the trench, the pale creatures, the swirling sediment, the impenetrable blackness below the submersible, something primal activates in the human brain. We are looking into a world that is not ours, and our nervous systems know it. Theory 4. The paranormal and the unexplained. In 1997, researchers monitoring hydrophone data in the Pacific Ocean recorded a sound they named the Bloop. It was extraordinarily powerful, loud enough to be detected by sensors more than 3,000 miles apart. Its frequency profile was unlike any known geological event. It bore some resemblance to biological sounds, something producing it, but no known creature was large enough to generate that volume. The scientific community eventually concluded it was likely the sound of a large ice quake, ice fracturing in Antarctica. But the original recording captured imaginations worldwide, and it wasn't the only anomalous sound. Julia, train, slow down, upsweep. NOAA has cataloged dozens of unexplained sounds from the deep Pacific. Most have been attributed to geological or atmospheric causes. Some remain, technically, unclassified. The ocean makes sounds we cannot yet explain. That is simply a fact. Theory 5. The conspiracy angle. What aren't they telling us? Some observers ask a pointed question. Why, given our technological capabilities in the 21st century, have we explored so little of the deep ocean? We have sent submarines to every corner of the globe. We have underwater military infrastructure in the deepest ocean basins. Various nations, including the United States, maintain classified deep-sea research programs. What has been found in those programs that hasn't been publicly disclosed? This is not as fringe a question as it sounds. Declassified documents have confirmed that the U.S. Navy's classified SOSUS network, a Cold War-era underwater hydrophone array designed to track Soviet submarines, recorded enormous volumes of deep ocean acoustic data for decades that was never shared with civilian scientists. Some of that data has since been released. Some of it has not. What was in it? Section 6 Deep Analysis. Let's sit with 3 contradictions that the Mariana Trench forces us to confront. Contradiction 1. We explore space more than our own planet. The budget of NASA in 2023 was approximately $25.4 billion. The budget of NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, the primary U.S. agency responsible for ocean research, was approximately $6.5 billion. And a fraction of that goes to deep-sea exploration. We spend roughly 4 times more studying the cosmos than we spend studying the ocean floor beneath our feet. As a result, we have higher resolution maps of the surface of Venus than we have of the Mariana Trench. Why? Partly because space exploration captures the public imagination in a way ocean exploration hasn't yet. Partly because the technology required to withstand the crushing pressure of the deep ocean is in some ways more challenging to engineer than spacecraft. And partly, some would argue, because what might be found down there is more complicated to deal with than what we might find in the void of space. Contradiction 2. Life exists where it cannot. The discovery of life in the Mariana Trench, and particularly the discovery of complex ecosystems thriving in conditions of extreme pressure, zero light, and near-freezing temperature, did not just expand our understanding of ocean biology. It fundamentally changed our understanding of where life can exist in the universe. If life can thrive in the crushing darkness at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, then the habitable zone around a star, the region once thought necessary for life, is no longer the limiting factor we assumed. Life might exist in the subsurface oceans of Europa, one of Jupiter's moons. It might exist under the ice of Enceladus, orbiting Saturn. It might exist in environments we previously dismissed as sterile. The Mariana Trench didn't just change ocean science. It changed astrobiology. Contradiction 3. We've already poisoned what we haven't explored. The discovery of PCBs and Challenger deep amphipods raises an ethical question that has no comfortable answer. We have barely explored the deepest ecosystem on Earth. We do not understand it. We do not know what species live there. We do not know what roles they play in the larger planetary ecosystem. And we have already contaminated it. Plastics have been found in the Mariana Trench. Microplastics, industrial chemicals, radioactive isotopes from mid-20th century nuclear weapons testing have been detected in deep-sea organisms. The deepest place on Earth is not a pristine wilderness waiting to be discovered. It is an already polluted frontier we haven't yet had the courage or capability to properly face. Section 7 Modern Implications. The Mariana Trench is not a historical mystery. It is a present-day one. Right now, as you watch this, unmanned submersibles are collecting new data from the Hadal Zone. New species are being identified. New chemical processes are being documented. And with each new finding, the picture grows stranger and the implications grow larger. The pharmaceutical industry has taken significant interest in deep-sea organisms. Bacteria living in the Mariana Trench produce enzymes and chemical compounds unlike anything found in surface environments. Some of these compounds have shown early promise in medical research, potential antibiotic properties, anti-cancer activity, industrial applications. The deep ocean may hold biological solutions to problems we haven't solved on the surface. At the same time, there is a new and troubling development: deep-sea mining. The floors of the world's deep oceans, including regions near the Mariana Trench, contain nodules of valuable minerals: manganese, cobalt, nickel, copper, materials essential for batteries, electronics, renewable energy infrastructure. Multiple corporations and nations are now actively pursuing licenses to mine these areas. The problem: we don't know what we'd be destroying. When you mine an ecosystem you don't understand, when you dredge the sediment of an environment that took millions of years to stabilize, what are you erasing? We don't know. And that is the most frightening answer of all. Section 8 Final question. We have traveled to the bottom of the world and found life where life should not exist. We have found pollution where human hands have never reached. We have heard sounds we cannot explain. We have mapped less than 25% of the ocean floor, and the Mariana Trench, the deepest part of all of it, remains largely a mystery. Here is what we know for certain. There is an entire world beneath the surface of this planet that operates by rules we are only beginning to understand. The creatures down there have never seen sunlight, never felt wind, never experienced anything resembling the world you inhabit right now. And they have survived, some of them, for hundreds of millions of years. What does that say about life? What does that say about resilience? What does that say about how little we actually know about the planet we call home? The ocean covers 71% of Earth's surface. We have explored less than 20% of it, which means that right now, tonight, in the darkness beneath 7 miles of water, there are things moving, living, evolving, that no human being has ever seen. Maybe they're simple. Maybe they're just microbes in the sediment. Or maybe something down there is far stranger than anything we've imagined. And we won't know until we finally have the courage to go look. So here's the question I want to leave you with tonight. Given everything we've discussed, the life, the pollution, the unexplained sounds, the untouched darkness, do you think we should be exploring the Mariana Trench more aggressively? Or is there something to be said for leaving the deepest place on Earth exactly as it is? Leave your answer in the comments. Your voice is what keeps this channel alive. Don't forget to subscribe and drop a like. See you in the next episode.